Sam Bennett kept his nerve at the weekend to secure the green jersey as winner of the points classification in this year's delayed Tour de France. It was a fantastic achievement for the Irishman, and it will take Irish cycling fans back to the heyday of the 1980s when Irishmen were among the best cyclists in the world. Stephen Roche achieved notoriety throughout the 80s, but it was in 1987 that the Dundrum man completed a remarkable triple crown with wins in the Tour de France, the Giro d'Italia and the World Road Race Championships. But one of his biggest rivals at the time was fellow Irishman Sean Kelly. Kelly was born in Carrick-on-Swire, County Tipperary in 1956. Carrick-on-Swire, incidentally, is the town that Sam Bennett moved to as a child, after being born in Belgium where his father played as a professional footballer. That coincidence is not the only one between the two now that Bennett has won the green jersey. Sean Kelly was 13 before he seriously took up cycling. His brother Joe had begun to cycle to school and entered several local races, which inspired the young Sean to get involved too. He won his first ever race, and by the age of 16 he won the National Junior Championship, a title he would defend the following year. At 17 he began entering senior races and won 2 Shea Elliott trophies, a race in memory of the first Irishman to win a stage of the Tour de France and several stages of the Tour of Ireland. He was caught up in controversy when he received a ban from the International Olympic Committee for competing in South Africa ahead of the 1976 Olympic Games, as the IOC had banned athletes from racing there in protest against apartheid. Kelly didn't let this stop his progression as a cyclist and participated in the Tour of Britain and a number of races in France, which drew the attention of professional teams, and he ended up signing a contract to compete in France at the beginning of 1977. Kelly continued to grow over the next few years and even won a stage at the Tour de France in 1978, but it wasn't until 1980 that the real success began. His first major honour didn't come in France, but on the other side of the Pyrenees, as he won the green jersey, also awarded for winning the points classification at the Vuelta a España. The points classification is generally regarded as the prize for sprinters on the classic tours, but there are other variables that mean you have to be a more rounded rider than a pure out-and-out sprinter. This was perfect for Kelly, who was an excellent sprinter but also had the necessary attributes to excel in other areas, and he would prove this time and time again in the 80s. After a bit of to and fro in the early 80s, Kelly signed up to the team managed by Jean de Gribaldi, who had originally signed him in 1977, in 1982, and from here his career leapt forward. He immediately won the Paris de Nice, or Race to the Sun as it's commonly known, and followed that up by winning the green jersey at the Tour de France. These 2 wins would be the first of multiple victories, as he would win Paris de Nice 7 times in a row between 1982 and 1988. He would follow up green jersey win at the Tour in 1982 by defending the jersey successfully in 1983, and by now he was among the best riders in the world in what was a fantastic era for cycling, with Bernard Hinault, Greg LeMond and Laurent Fignon at the top of their game. 1985 saw Kelly win the green jersey at the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España, and in 1986 he was able to defend the jersey he had won in Spain, but perhaps his greatest honour was still to come. In 1988 he won the green jersey at the Vuelta a España, but this time it was overshadowed by a sublime time trial on the penultimate day of racing, which took Kelly to the top of the general classification, and he was able to defend his lead in the final day to become Ireland's first ever winner of the Vuelta a España. The following year, Kelly won his 4th and final green jersey at the Tour de France to leave himself with a record of 4 green jerseys in both France and Spain, as well as the single yellow jersey for his win in Spain. He also had 5 stage wins in France and a remarkable 16 stage wins in Spain. That's still 5th on the list of most wins at the Vuelta a España. While he never won another major title at the Classics, he did add a couple more single day wins to his CV, with victory at the Milan de San Remo race, Liège-Bastogne de Liège and Giro de Lombardia races. Kelly retired from professional cycling in 1994, and it's to his credit that in his last ever race he returned to Carrick-on-Swire with legendary figures like Eddie Merckx, Laurent Fignon, Bernard Hinault and Stephen Roche, which goes to show how highly Kelly was regarded in cycling circles. Since retirement, Kelly has become a commentator for Eurosport cycling coverage, and he even had his own team between 2006 and 2017, which for a time included a young Sam Bennett. Bennett is very much the man of the moment thanks to his recent success in France. However, at 29 years old, he will struggle to match Sean Kelly's record of 4 green jerseys in France. But there's little doubt that by winning this one, he can consider himself one of Ireland's greatest cyclists alongside Kelly and Roach.